remember when my friend, Coach Brian Neighbors he had me help him. He had an AAU team. This is before he was head coach. He had an AAU team. And, we had a couple of different times, but, one of the times it was like we had a group of boys and, I never really coached before or anything, but that one of the things I remember is when I would see him after that, certain guys, hey coach, and like I said, I'm like, but I'm not really, I'm not really a coach,
Right.
but it's one of those things where, it lasts. They still do. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
These, people that, they see you in a different light. Those are talents that we may have, right? And some of the kids as well, and just, kind of homing in on those things as well in a way where they can, take time. I would keep going back to literacy as well. I believe, slowing down. I think a lot of, embarrassment sometimes comes in because you feel that, but no, it's just people learn differently as well. And I believe that people, they have the talent. Like I said before, we get it. But when it comes to that, sometimes asking for help is a great thing as well. And I asked them, when we first started camp this year, I told them, listen, what's the silliest question you can ask? And everybody looks around. It's the one you don't.
That's right.
It's the one you don't ask. And a lot of times I get it. They're able to ask, and this is not a knock on school because, like I said, I love school. I love the fact that what the teachers do. Don't get me wrong. It's just that we have to understand that it's tough at times.
Yeah.
It's tough at times, and sometimes children never discover their gifts at that time. And why would it be? Because distractions.
Yeah,
you're the right distraction behaviorally. Sometimes it's a distraction where they can't, now they're dealing so much of a behavior they can't even get down to the fact that this person has a lot of good talents and gifts to give. They can't do that because of some of the behavioral things, and that's something,
And I think, and even I'm 50, so I'm dating myself a little bit. But even when I was growing up, and I think today it still rings true, is as youth, human nature for a kid is if you're not successful at something, kind of steer away from that. That didn't come easy to you, kind of steer away from that. Well, I think also like adults, we sometimes, without even intentionally doing it, we sometimes look and say, well, my kid's reading fast, so let's gear everything towards that. But they're not showing, they don't show any interest in art, so we don't. And I just think when they're young, let's expose them to as much positive things as we can, and not worry so much about what we're good at. Let's worry about what we're passionate about.
Right, and then encouragement.
Build up
and the encouragement comes into play as well. Exposure and encouragement comes into play. I'm telling you, like like I said before, the only thing that I'm upset about, I'm not always there at TSK Camp Elevate, but one of the things I try to do while I'm there is try to greet them in the morning, and I learned this from someone else. She just greet them in the morning. How you doing? Fist bump, things like that. And one of the things I started to see was like, I think I saw him yesterday. Yeah, I did, because I saw him yesterday in the morning. Didn't see him anymore that day because I had to go do some things, but I had to stop by the movies, right? And you should see him. And it this dawned on me, like, wow. They, fist bumping, because they used to me doing it there as well. And it's, those are the things that get me through, because I know that, it's, and like I told you, it's not even about that. It's not even about me coming on here bragging about it or what I'm not about that, but I do want change, and I do want to, want to help the community in any way I can, and I want others to as well, which we'll talk about here a little later. But this is something that we have to focus on. This is something that we need, right? And as a collective, that word, I always say it, but it means more than it means more than the Summer Collective. It means a collective of people. That's what it means. And like I said, people will definitely won't maybe always have the same, be on the same ideas, but we can have a same common goal, which is helping the community. And when that happens, that can happen in many different ways. Many different ways is that where it can happen. The next thing I want to talk about is definitely building young future leaders. And building these future leaders is the way we do it. How does it start? It starts way before they become adults. And this is something that, I had to learn, over the years. I had to learn about being responsible, right? That's what I was telling you about the, cleaning up display thing. It wasn't even a lot, but it's still yet a lot, being responsible, right? Integrity, teamwork is another thing. Learning and working as a team, communication, of course, and decision making, making good decisions. It was a kid that, first week now, he was kind of disgruntled. I'm just telling you, he really was. I ain't coming back, stuff like that. And I understood. I mean, it was just one of the things, right? It wasn't for him. Seen him last 2 days, smile on his face. So, I mean, he's starting to get into it. I mean, I think a lot of times, sometimes a kid doesn't know, well, what are they doing there? What's going on over there? One of those things that, so once they see that, and then they say, oh, okay, that's not that bad. I mean, and once you see it's not that bad, then they want to come. But it's being a leader, right? And sometimes it's not even about titles. He's a leader, right? About talents. It's about, influence. Leadership is about, it's about service. Let's get it right. And I want to show the kids that, I'll do anything as far as, I'll serve them, whatever it needs to be, if that's the case, get down there and play with them, whatever it needs to be. Because service, I think, the more as a community, if we go back to service, I think you can't go wrong. I really believe that. And I know, that people have things going on, people are busy, and I understand that. I'm not saying, and like I said, it's whatever you can do for your community. That's what, is a great. The reason why I say that, especially if you have kids, parents, relatives, friends, the community can be affected by, definitely not having some positive role models and also some positivity in the actual community. So that's one of the things, because, one of the things is leadership is accountability as well. That's one of the things that it definitely speaks about. And the qualities, to me, of a good leader is being a good listener. That's one of the things, being a good listener. A lot of times, people come with ideas about, what can make, and we want to make it better. We want to make TSK Camp Elevate better. In all facets, we want to make it better. We want to make it, number one, we want to make it bigger, right? We always want to keep it safe. We want to make it bigger. We want to make it better. It's one of the things, that we speak about. And, I believe that good leadership can be taught in the right context. It can be taught. Because a lot of, the young people, they need to understand that. Why do we use that word leader? Because that's what it is, right? I mean, it's leadership. I mean, it makes sure they are responsible, making sure they, and, to me, why I think they are, and I don't know some of the situations of, where some of the kids from, Camp Elevate are in as far as home, but we pick a lot of them up from home, and very rarely do we have to wait. And that, to me, that's a good thing. I mean, sometimes, you got
Right.
things, but I'm telling you, man, it's like, so they ready to roll, right? And that's a testament to the staff. It's a testament to, some of the things that while we're doing it, I mean, and I know others are as well. I think, all the people out there I've seen, even at the, movie theater today, hey, my hat's off to them. I really is, because it's never a competition to me. It's never something I don't try to talk about it at all.
Right.
I mean, somebody can help a kid, a youth, an adult, a person in need. So be it, man. It's not, one of those things like that. I mean, would we like to grow? Yes, we would. But I'm never looking at anything as a competition at all. Right. It's not going to, because that brings what, as we both know, sometimes it brings the worst out of people. Yeah. Unfortunately, it brings the worst out of people, and it's not something that, definitely is needed, but we see it all the time. I mean, we can't be naive and believe that it's not, and that's something, we work on as well.
Yeah, and that leadership, I think, again, one of the key factors is communication skills.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I know I tend to tie everything back into literacy, but I think if you look at the most effective leaders, they communicate well. You can have the greatest ideas in the world, but if you can't explain them to your team and how to put them in place.
I'll be the first to tell you that sometimes I struggle with that, and and a lot of times I struggle with it. No excuse, I got to get better. But one thing I am good at is just acknowledging that out in the open, acknowledging that. I mean, out in the open, it's like, I need to get better at this. And so before I say, if something, was going on, let's say if something going on here at the office, before I say, Chad, what did you do wrong? I'd look at myself and think, what did I do wrong?
Right.
First, before I would even address the fact that, and sometimes that's what it is. I'm not saying that the things don't need to be addressed because of what happened, but I need to look within myself to make sure, number one, it won't happen again. Two, there's, safeguards in place in case it does.